Welcome to this unidentified channel. Today we are going to talk about what happened at the April 7th status conference for the Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell case. Did you watch it? If you did watch it, will you tell me how you watched it? Because it was very hard for me to find. It wasn't out there like all the other hearings have been. It was hard to find. So if you were able to watch it, tell me how you were able to watch it. The hearing started out with all of them on the Zoom screen. Rachel Smith was included, and the judge started out by asking, we have this trial set for July. Are we sticking with those dates? And so he went to Rob Wood, and Rob was like, I'm good. However, if the defense needs more time, I'm okay with that too. Mr. John Pryor, are you okay with the trial dates set for July? John Pryor went on to say he would need a minimum of 90 days after the trial. And he mentioned the end of August. He would need 90 days from the end of August. And he was talking late October, November. And that would be at a minimum. John Pryor has some discovery items. He mentioned 30 discovery items that he needs to go over with Rob Wood and Rachel Smith. I guess to clear some things up, or maybe it's new discovery items. I don't know. All right, getting back to the trial discussion, right? So John Pryor says he needs at least 90 days. Mark Mean says, yes, we need to vacate the July dates and set new dates for the trial with a minimum of 90 days. And so the judge was like, do we want to do this and flip through our calendars right now? Well, before we flip through our calendars and John Pryor asked for more time and Mark Means asked for more time, the judge then went back to the state and asked Rob Wood, are you okay with this? And he said yes. He is okay with giving them more time, however much time you need. And from what I understand, that is so there is no, like, oh, we didn't have enough time to go through everything. They rushed us. So he's like, if y'all need more time, we'll give you more time. Whatever you need. The judge granted the motion to vacate the July trial and that we would set up a date for the change of venue because that motion has already been filed. It's been vacated at least once, maybe more than that. And they need that to be heard, as if we set trial dates and then we do a change of venue, we're not even going to be in that county to do a trial. And then if we sever the cases to where they're two separate cases, now we have change of venue, we've got different counties, we've got different judges, we've got different trials and different juries. And so it would kind of be silly to put the trial on the calendar right now when we don't even know, is it going to be in that county, is it going to be with that judge, and is it going to be one trial or two? We just don't know yet. So the judge wanted to come up with a date. What's another date that we can all get together? And at least if we're not going to get the trial on the books right now, let's get a date to hear the motion for the change of venue. So he's looking through his calendar and John Pryor's like, oh, I have a suggestion, Judge. Since we were all supposed to be in court on June the 2nd for this pre-trial conference for the July trial, why don't we just use the June 2nd date since we were all committed to that? And so everybody's checking their calendars and like, yeah, I'm good with that, I'm good with that. Everybody's good with that. And so the judge is like, oh no, I'm not good with that. I had planned on doing this pre-trial conference, which shouldn't take all day. And this matter we're discussing now is going to take all day. And I have other matters to take care of on that day that he mentioned. It was about a civil trial and maybe his longest case on the books or whatever. So June 2nd wasn't going to work. Right, June 2nd wasn't going to work. So Rob Wood's like, maybe the week before that. And John Pryor spoke up immediately and was like, I'm not available that week, Judge. So they're looking around, trying to find a date. And the judge is like, oh, how about June 9th? Right? And I'm sure everybody watching the trial was like, June 9th? But you didn't see any of that from any of the people on the hearing. Right? It's like they didn't even know that June 9th was a significant date in this case.
The next week, June 9th, That works for my schedule, Judge. June 9th would work for my schedule as well, Your Honor.
That works for me.
That works. I can work that out.
Okay, thanks for accommodating that. So,
why was there no reaction? I don't know. Nobody said anything, and we went around the hearing in the little squares and was like, "Oh, I'm good with that, Judge. That'll work for me. Oh, my calendar's free for then." So the judge is like, "Oh, we'll just book the whole day, June 9th, to go through the change of venue and any other motions that may come up, like maybe the motion to sever the cases." You know the significance of June the 9th. That is the next time that we will all be in a courtroom. It is supposed to be in person, so they'll all be in the courtroom together in front of each other on June the 9th. Now, spoiler alert, because you already know that June the 9th was the day that the children, June the 9th was the day that Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow were found in Chad Daybell's backyard. That is the day that Chad drove off as they discovered JJ and was arrested on the street. And we are so thankful for the passerby who pulled her phone out to make the video recording of him being arrested. So you can watch that right here.
It was just weird because he came past and then all of a sudden there's all these cops just, and one of them was kind of going on the outside, kind of trying to surround him. And so they got him to pull over and got him to get out of his car.
And Rexburg police not really giving a lot of information this afternoon. This is pretty much all they could say about Chad, though they were adding that there may be some pending charges.
So we all agreed, yes, we'll all be in court at the hearing on June 9th. It'll be an all-day event, and we can all get together and talk about how we're going to move forward in this case, or these cases. Now, as of right now, we still don't know what's happening with Rachel Smith on the Lori Vallow side of things, right? Because Mark Means filed an objection for that, and so that hearing wasn't heard. We only heard for the Chad Daybell case. The judge did grant the order for Rachel Smith to be on the case for Chad Daybell, but not for Lori Vallow. Did you notice, if you watched the hearing, did you notice how the judge referred to Lori? It's always been Lori Vallow, Lori Vallow, Lori Vallow, and this hearing, the judge referred to Lori as Lori Vallow Daybell. Mrs. Lori Vallow Daybell. As Mark Means filed some sort of motion for her to be addressed as Daybell. Not Lori Vallow, but Lori Vallow Daybell. Or, I don't know if Vallow was included in that motion or objection or whatever it was Mark Means filed, but the judge addressed her as Mrs. Daybell. And I haven't heard that in a while, for sure. Did you catch it? Go back and watch it. Maybe I'll put it here. If I can get it, I'll put it here.
Mrs. Vallow Daybell.
The judge says, okay, we're all wrapped up here. I don't have any other pending motions or anything else to go over. And Rob Wood kind of cut him off and was like, hey, I got these 2 motions I filed to exclude. Motions to exclude. I'm not sure what that means. And then they also started talking about how the witnesses would appear in this June 9th hearing, as some of the witnesses need to, from what I gather, there's a witness that needs to testify where they don't want their identity revealed, so it looks like they may change the name of that witness. And they also, when I say they, Rob Wood and John Pryor and Mark Means all want witnesses able to show up by Zoom instead of actually being in the courtroom. So we know that this is going to be an in-person hearing, and so they're requesting that some of their witnesses be able to testify via Zoom in this hearing. Now, the judge said as long as no one is objecting and we can do this as stipulated, like it's a stipulated thing that the witnesses can testify via Zoom during this hearing. And so I wasn't really sure what that meant, so I looked it up, and from what I can tell, it just means that there is no objection from anybody that the witnesses can appear by Zoom, but everybody has to agree to that, and maybe it's only for this one hearing. It's like a stipulation of this hearing and not something that we can do going forward every time, and we'll all sign off on it, as John Pryor confirmed, that everyone would have to sign off on the stipulation. So we're hearing that the trial schedule is filling up because trials are just starting to happen again, and they've got things that are very long outstanding, where Lori and Chad were arrested and jailed in 2020. Think of all the people that were arrested and jailed in 2019 that have been waiting on their court date, their day in court, their trial. So he has to make sure, the judge has to make sure that the calendar is prioritized by length, how long someone's been in jail, what's priority. Anyway, we have stipulations on the witnesses appearing via Zoom in the June 9th hearing. We'll see what happens with that. John Pryor said something to the effect of, when we set the trial dates, that doesn't need to be done in the public. We don't have to do that in front of everyone. We can kind of throw some dates around and look at our calendars like in private, not in front of everyone. And that's really all he was saying wasn't that he wanted to do something not for the public to see, but just going through your calendars for all of them, which there's 5 of them now, and trying to set up a date for the trial is something that they can do through email, behind the scenes, and then they would let the public know, hey, we set the trial for this date. So the hearing ended, and we have a June 9th hearing date. It's going to start at 9 a.m. on June the 9th, and we're going to hear the change of venue arguments and any other motions that they can get in that day. It will be an all-day event, so we will be sure to be tuned in on that day to see what happens, as I can only imagine the things that will happen on that anniversary date. A few other things that I've seen in the Lori Daybell and Chad Daybell news in general. Did you guys see where a Lifetime movie, I believe it is, there's a Lifetime movie coming out going over this whole story? Did you see where that's coming out? They've got actors and actresses playing the parts, and it's a lot of the comments seeing this movie coming out is, how can you do a movie when we don't even know the ending? Right? They're in jail. We haven't had a trial. We don't know if they're guilty, if they're not guilty, if murder charges are coming. How are they going to do a movie? They don't even know what has happened. We know where we are to date, but we don't know what's going to happen. So what are your thoughts on the movie coming out? It's supposed to come out sometime this summer. Something else I saw was that another YouTuber posted that Chad Daybell had received a letter to show up for jury duty. Did you guys see that post? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it says Chad Guy Daybell, welcome to jury service. You are summoned to jury service by a special order of the court. The term of your service is listed on the included summons. It goes on to say that the juror questionnaire on the back of the form and the COVID-19 initial screening questionnaire must be completed and returned in the stamped self-addressed envelope no later than March 19th, 2021. So, Emma Daybell responded to this down in the little bottom of the questionnaire that says, this section to be completed and signed only if another person completed the juror questionnaire for the prospective juror. And she says, I, Emma Daybell Murray, hereby declare that I filled out the juror questionnaire form for and on behalf of the above named prospective juror for the following reasons. 1. He is incarcerated. 2. This address is in Fremont County, not Madison, and individuals residing at this address are not eligible for Madison County jury service, even if not incarcerated. And then she signed it, and she stated that she was the daughter. So how do you get summoned for jury duty when you are incarcerated yourself? How does that happen? Have you watched the body cam that has been released from the day Alex Cox died? I haven't gotten the chance to go through all of that video. However, it is out there if you haven't seen it, and I will do my best to get through it very soon and see if there's any information in that video that we all need to know. A lot hasn't really happened since the hearing, and so we will just watch and see what kind of motions get filed and what happens over the next couple of months while we wait on June the 9th to get here to see what the outcome of that day will bring. I don't think we'll be in court again on this case until June, so I will see what else I can put together for you on all of this. Just trying to think of all the Daybell news that has happened over the past few weeks. I'm looking for information if you have any. I'm looking for the objection that Mark Means filed to have Rachel Smith added to Lori Noreen Vallow Daybell's case. That's probably it for now. There's so much information out there. I know I haven't gotten through it all, but those are a couple things that I'm looking for. I'm going to wrap up now. So if you haven't already, let me know where you're watching from. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all for being here with me, and I will see you next time. Did you see, I saw Rob Wood was there with Rachel Smith and Mark Means and John Pryor and Judge Stephen Boyce. They were all in on the Zoom hearing. Some of the it's been several days since the hearing and no motions have been filed, so we know that what else John, which Rachel Smith was granted, the judge did grant, is that right? Hold on. Lori Vallow, and this trial, no. And this hearing, it's been, as the last hearing that we had in March vacated the change of venue for, no, that's not right. John Pryor also mentioned the, and we had the, for me, but if the defense needed to push it out, all this noise. No, he was not. And Mark Means was like, and now, and are we going to be able to keep these dates? Oh yes, which would have them split back up. Did you watch it? To kind of see status conference hearing, I guess, to go over where we are and what we're doing on this case. I'm okay with that too. However, we're good. And so alright, so the judge, so that is the next time. That is the next time Mr. Pryor, and as he has some, and we'll just block that whole day out. And actually that wasn't said yet. So the judge is looking for a date, right? That is, so there, what else? Am I looking for anything else? I think that's it. Since we were all supposed to be in court on July the 2nd, any kind of information on, also, that's really all I have for you now. The April 7th, 2021 court hearing. Thanks, Alexa. Appreciate you. Until then, bye.